Yeah.
we'll see. Here's somebody we got to talk about, Mr. George Lombard Jr.
Summer of George.
Summer of George. 311 in his pro debut a couple years ago. Elite baseball IQ and instincts. I don't know if there's ever been a prospect who looks more like a Yankee. Kind of looks like Carlos Correa a little bit. I don't know if anybody else sees that, but 231 average, 5 home runs, 822 OPS last year. Versatile infielder. He projects as a long-term shortstop, but he can play both second and third. Number 3 overall prospect, just 20 years old. Drafted in the first round with the 26th overall pick in the 2023 draft pick. He looks athletic. We got to see him in the Major League camp last year, and he looked fantastic. Hit a couple of home runs. Big time prospect, in my opinion. This is a guy that the Yankees are very, very high on, and I would definitely consider putting him on my untouchable list that we're about to go through in just a minute. Thoughts on Lombard Jr.?
I love George Lombard Jr. And what I was alluding to before, trade one of them, Roderick Arias or George Lombard Jr., I'd be trading Roderick Arias out of the two of them. George Lombard Jr. is a guy that I think very highly of. He's a guy who comes from like a baseball family. His dad played in the league. He's the bench coach for the Tigers. There's a cool picture there with Aaron Judge. This is a clip from the Youth Prospects video about his brother, actually, and it's kind of like a day in their lives. And they got a bunch of like cool baseball memorabilia around the house like that, including that one. So I thought that was kind of cool, the full circle moment there. But this is a guy that I'm really high on. He kind of does remind me a lot of Carlos Correa. They look similar, and also the swing as well. I feel like they should move him to third and let him develop there. He kind of profiles that way physically as well, I think. But this is a guy, if you watch that video, there's one thing that stands out to me very clearly. This guy is a professional. This guy's been living his life like a professional since he was like 13 years old.
Let's take a look at his swing again, because I want to bring up the point that I was talking to Terrence about this, and we're going to show this again. His swing reminds me of Mike Trout, how he kind of hits against a closed front side. And, I mean, this is uncanny. If you watch Mike Trout highlights, and I'm not comparing him to Trout. Trout's a once-in-a-generation, but similar type of swing where he gets inside of the baseball, hits against that closed front side. I mean, it's hard not to be ecstatic about a guy who's had the success he's had at his age and has a swing like that.
Yeah, and it's really just about the way that he like lives his life every day. Like, I'm serious, watch the video. I've never seen, at the time I think he was 19, but I've never seen somebody that young sort of live like a 30-year-old vet who takes care of his body and like eats freaking like avocado ice cream like Tom Brady does. And like I said, his dad was in the game. He's a bench coach. So he's been like training like a major leaguer for a long time. So the way that he lives his life shows a lot about him and the way that he prepares, and I think he'll be successful.
Avocado ice cream sounds absolutely disgusting. So I mentioned this on another podcast. I have diabetes, so I have to eat a lot of sugar-free, just disgusting tasting stuff. Like if I want sweets, I've got to have sugar-free strawberry wafers and stuff like that. And they're gross, but avocado ice cream sounds like it's taking it to another level. But I'm really anxious to see how George Lombard Jr. Develops. Let's talk about Spencer Jones, your boy.